Sometimes dealing with student behavior can go beyond what universal strategies are able to address. In these cases, it is important for teachers and leaders to take time and analyze student behavior. In this video, you will learn about some concepts and strategies to help you feel more confident in dealing with significant behavioral challenges. The first important concept to understand is that relationships are key to handling students with significant behavioral challenges. Teachers, it is important to take time to get to know your students. You need to know what their likes are and what their dislikes are, what might trigger them, and what are ways to help them calm down. This information will come by trial and error with different strategies, talking with the student, but also it's very important to talk with the student's parents. Some students have behavioral and emotional disabilities and have specific plans written up for them at school that are written by professionals. Parents are included in this conversation, and so parents will have great ideas on how to support their students at club. The next concept to understand when building relationships is 3-to-1 ratio by Dr. Randy Sprick. 3-to-1 ratio is the idea that teachers will spend more time focusing on positive interactions with students rather than addressing their behavior concerns. Positive interactions range on a continuum, from simply greeting a student with a smile when they arrive at club to then spending one-on-one time with the student. In 3-to-1 ratio, the teacher will give 3 positive interactions for every 1 corrective behavior. So if you say to Johnny, "Johnny, please sit still," it is the idea that you will then follow up with 3 positive interactions for that 1 correction. This concept can be extremely challenging to actually implement, but the main concept to take away is the idea that you should be very purposeful with creating positive interactions with your students. Next, let's discuss the brain state model by Conscious Discipline. This model is based on research by psychiatrists and neuroscientists, and it splits the brain into 3 sections. This model helps us understand the underlying causes of student behavior. The first state is a survival state. In this state, students are lacking a sense of safety and are often asking themselves, "Am I safe?" Students may present behaviors such as hiding, fighting, surrendering, and other physical reactions. In order to help a student calm down who's in the survival state, the teacher must create a sense of safety for the students. The next state is the emotional state. In this state, students are asking themselves, "Am I loved?" and they are lacking a sense of connection. Students may present with behaviors such as sass, backtalk, yelling, and other verbal reactions. In order to help a student who is in their emotional state, it is important for a teacher to help this student feel connected. The last state is the executive state, and this is a state where students are asking themselves, "What can I learn?" In this state, students are ready to learn, they're engaged, and are presenting with behaviors that are excellent. So, how can we help our students get out of the survival and emotional state and arrive at the executive state? Well, there's not one easy answer because every student is different. However, we will look at some strategies that can help you decide how to handle these significant behavioral challenges in just a few minutes. But first, let's look at one more important concept. Our next concept is co-dysregulation and co-regulation. Co-dysregulation is the idea that when a student's behavior begins to escalate and increase, the teacher matches the student's emotional state and also becomes increasingly escalated. The teacher may start feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and irritated with the student. In this case, both the student and the teacher are quite escalated, and it is extremely difficult for the student to calm down if the teacher is also matching their emotional state. Co-regulation is when the student's behavior begins to increase, and then the teacher is able to stay calm and collected. This way, because the teacher is calm and collected, the student can then deregulate and de-escalate and become more regulated. Now that we've discussed some concepts that can help you deal with challenging behaviors, let's look at some strategies to address them. We talked about the brain state model, and when we look at strategies to help students, we need to analyze where they are at as far as their brain state. So, first, let's talk about some strategies that help us address the survival state. The first few strategies are having clear expectations, predictable routine, and holding students accountable. This is important so the student feels safe and they can predict what will happen next. They never have to wonder what might be happening. Also, having a calming corner with sensory tools like squishy animals, stuffed animals, fidget spinners, things like that, can help the student have a place where they feel calm and they can refocus their behavior. Having scheduled breaks with an adult is another great way to help students feel safe. Also, having picture schedules so the students can actually visually see the format of club will help them, again, feel like they know what will happen next. Having extra snacks, although it may not seem like it, is actually one way that students can feel safe. And lastly, having choice. It is a really great idea to sometimes offer choices to students. In this way, they feel like they are in control, even though they're really not. Next, let's talk about strategies that address the emotional state. First of all, it is really important to, again, have those positive relationships with the students. The student wants to feel loved, so creating time to spend with that student is an excellent strategy to deal with this emotional state. Next, having scheduled breaks with an adult or even having a special job will really make them feel special and loved. Additionally, having multiple class games and interactive activities will help students create relationships with other students, making them feel loved. Lastly, having special notes from teachers and giving them incentives can be another great way to help them feel connected. Lastly, let's discuss some strategies to help you stay calm as the adult. So, first of all, do not take students' behavior personally. It can be easy to take things personally, especially because we're volunteers and we really care about these kids. But it's important to remember, student behavior is often driven by other things, not you. Next, don't be afraid to tag out with a partner. We are adults, but we still need to take a break from stressful situations. So if you feel yourself starting to escalate, ask another adult to take over the situation. Lastly, take some belly breaths, use positive self-talk, and remember to talk to parents. Again, parents are a great way to find strategies that will help their students be successful in club. Now that we've talked about some concepts and strategies, let's practice with some scenarios. Scenario number 1. Mia comes up to you and asks you for help with the craft. You're in the middle of speaking with a different student, so you hold up your finger and say, "Just one moment." Mia screams, "I hate you! You are so mean! You only care about everyone else!" She bursts into tears and runs into the hallway. Pause the video now to think about what brain state Mia is acting from, how you could address this behavior in the immediate time, and then what you could do in the future to help Mia. In this situation, Mia is definitely acting from the emotional state. She feels like you didn't care about her. In the immediate, it will be important to go into the hallway and help Mia calm down by taking breaths or taking a walk with you. After she is calm, talk with Mia about her feelings. And even though you really didn't do anything wrong, it is important to take time to apologize to Mia and tell her you did not mean to make her feel like you weren't caring for her. In the future, with Mia, if she comes and interrupts you, make sure to pause, get down at her eye level, and take time to explain to her that you are busy. Then give Mia a couple of choices. She could either work with another adult or give her a timer and say, "In a couple of minutes, I will come and help you when the timer goes off." This way, Mia knows what will happen next. She either has an adult right now to help her, or she knows in the future that she will get the help that she needs. Also, you took the time to talk with her and listen, so she knows that you care. Good job on scenario number 1. Let's go to scenario number 2. Scenario number 2. The class is working on a craft when you hear AJ yelling at his partner. As you walk over, AJ throws his hood over his head and puts his head down on the table. When you try to talk to AJ, he refuses to lift his head and will not talk to you. AJ shuts down like this often and sometimes misses more than half of club hiding under his hood. Pause the video again and think about what brain state AJ might be in, what you could do immediately, and what you could do in the future to support him. AJ is definitely working from the survival state. He is not feeling safe. In the immediate aftermath of his behavior, it is important to give AJ some space. Oftentimes we want to get in and talk to the student and try to figure it out right away. But if we try to force AJ to talk with us, or to remove his hood, or if we start threatening consequences, this will just push AJ farther into being defensive and scared. So give him some space, walk away, and let him have some time. Every few minutes, you could go in, get down, and whisper and offer him some choices. For example, AJ, we could go take a walk if you want, or would you like a snack? Or do you need some time in the calming corner? If he doesn't respond, again, just let him be. Once AJ does start to participate in club again, then you can try to talk with him in a private way about what happened with him and his partner. In the future, you might pair AJ up with a special friend. It could be someone he's already friends with and feels safe with. It could also be an adult that he feels comfortable with. Additionally, you could also give AJ some special seating where he doesn't have to work with other kids and he can just kind of hang out by himself during club activities. Now that we've finished scenario number 2, let's go to scenario number 3. During group time, Kyle cannot sit still. He wanders the room, rolls on the floor, or pokes and prods other students. Sometimes he is able to be redirected, and sometimes he shouts, "No!" and hides under tables. Pause the video and think about the brain state that Kyle might be acting from, what you could do immediately to help him, and what you could do in the future to support Kyle. Kyle is probably working out of both the survival and emotional state. Immediately, I would give Kyle some options. You could go up to him and say something like this: "Kyle, you can either sit here on this dot spot or here in this chair, but walking around the room is not an option." Then wait a little bit and see if he will make a choice. If he decides to keep wandering the room or roll on the floor, just ignore him and walk away. Then come back to him a few minutes later and offer him the same choices. You can sit here or you can sit on this chair. Again, give him some time to think. Once Kyle does choose a good spot to sit in, lay on the praise. Give him lots and lots of praise for his good choice. In the future, with Kyle, he may need special seating. He might need some sensory tools to help him focus. You could even give him a special job during the times where he really struggles. That way, he can really focus on something positive instead of on being negative. It also would be important to talk to Kyle's parents and see if they have any suggestions about how to help Kyle be successful in club. In this video, you have learned some different concepts and strategies to help you when you have students who have significant behavioral challenges. First, we learned about the brain state model, co-dysregulation versus co-regulation. Then we looked at strategies to help you deal with students and also strategies to help you stay calm as an adult. We practiced with some scenarios, and hopefully now you feel a little bit more confident when dealing with children who have significant behavioral difficulties. It is important to remember, however, that every child is different. The most important thing is to build strong relationships with your students and take time to get to know them. Students with these challenges, they really just need time, patience, and love from their teachers and leaders. In this way, you will hopefully be able to handle significant behavioral challenges.